Hi everyone, Casey here. Welcome back to my channel, Casey on Location. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use multi-track recording with the Zoom PodTrak P4 and upload a test demo podcast episode to the Anchor Podcast Host website. For this video, I'm filming with the Canon Vixia G60 camcorder set at its highest 4K quality at 150 megabits per second. The camera's audio level is set manually at 35, and for the audio, I'm recording with the Rode Wireless Go lavalier system. The Rode transmitter is clipped right here, just below my collar, and I'm only using the built-in microphone on the Rode transmitter. And the gain level is at the lowest setting. For the main light, I'm using the Godox SL60 LED light with a Phottix Raja 65 softbox and honeycomb grid. The power is set for about 50% brightness at 5500 degrees Kelvin temperature, and the light is placed right there. Here we have the Zoom PodTrak P4. For this demonstration, I will simulate having a host and co-host for recording a podcast episode. I have two separate microphones attached to the PodTrak P4. On channel 1, the Audio Technica ATR 2100X mic is plugged in. Here's the Audio Technica ATR 2100X mic. It's plugged into channel 1. On channel 2, the Shure SM58 mic is plugged in. Here's the Shure SM58, and that is plugged into channel 2. I have the gain dial set to 6 on both channels 1 and 2. So here's channel 1 and here's channel 2, and they're both set to 6 on the gain dial knob. The other channels 3 and 4 are set to 0 on the gain dial because those channels are not used. Here's channels 3 and 4. Because no microphones are attached, those are set to 0 gain. I'm going to pretend to be both the host and co-host and play an intro and outro jingle so that the final recording will have 3 separate inputs used for this demonstration. There will be a total of 3 separate audio files, including the soundpad jingles. I have a simple portable external speaker plugged into one of the headphone ports at the bottom so that you can hear the audio spoken into the microphones. Also, you can hear the intro and outro when I play the sound pads. Here is the external speaker right over here. At the end of the video, I will show you how to process the separate multi-track files and to combine them into one single file for uploading to the Anchor Podcast Host website. Okay, let's do a test recording. I'm going to hit the record button and play my intro jingle on the sound pad to get started. Here we go. Hello and welcome to another podcast episode by your host, Casey Chung. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started. Hey, it's Casey Sr. here, your host for this podcast. How's my co-host Casey Jr. doing today? Hey, Casey Jr. here. I'm having a wonderful day. What topic are we discussing for this podcast episode? We will talk about how to start your own podcast show using the Zoom PodTrak P4 and Anchor for hosting our show. That's a great topic. I like it. Let's do it. Okay, that was a fantastic episode. Thanks for listening, everyone. And that concludes this podcast. I'm your host, Casey Chung. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to catch you again soon on our next episode. Okay, I already ended the recording on the PodTrak P4, and what I'm going to do after this video is finished is to include the actual recording from the PodTrak P4 in post-sync, so you will hear the audio that was recorded using these 2 different microphones, which are the Audio Technica ATR 2100X and the Shure SM58 microphone. At this point, I'm going to transfer the finished recording to my computer. There are 2 different ways of doing this. Either remove the SD memory card from the PodTrak P4 and insert into my computer, or just plug in a USB-C cable into my computer and transfer the file, which I find is easier and more convenient. That's what I'm going to do because I already have a USB-C cable connected from the PodTrak P4 into the laptop computer. So here is the USB-C cable connected into the USB port on the left side of the PodTrak P4. The other end of the cable is connected into my Windows laptop computer, which is right back there. The other USB-C cable is for the DC 5V port connected to this Anchor brand 20,000 milliamp battery that's been powering the PodTrak P4 for many hours. So now let me just zoom into the LCD screen for the next step. Okay, so on the PodTrak P4, I will now press the menu button, which is right here. And I'm going to go right here to where it says File Transfer. Sometimes you might have to scroll up or scroll down before you can highlight the File Transfer setting. And then you press the Record button, which is the same as the Enter button. And now it's in File Transfer mode. So now that the PodTrak P4 is in File Transfer mode, my computer will recognize the PodTrak P4 as an external hard drive. For my own Windows laptop computer, the PodTrak P4 shows up as the letter D drive that says PFSD. So here it is right here. You will notice that there are a bunch of different files and folders after I open the P4SD main folder. So let me double click to open that. And there are two important items that I want to point out here. The audio file at the bottom is the combined stereo mix file that I just finished recording. So right here, where I have it highlighted, that is the combined stereo mix file that I just finished recording. The file is named by the year first, then the month and date, then the time in military hours. So this last one here at the bottom is the combined stereo mix file that combines the audio from mic 1 plus mic 2 plus the sound pad jingle of the intro and outro jingles. I'm going to play this file now to make sure it is in fact the combined mixed file. So let's play it now. Hello and welcome to another podcast episode by your host, Casey Chung. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started. Hey, it's Casey Sr. here, your host for this podcast. How's my co-host Casey Jr. doing today? Hey, Casey Jr. here. I'm having a wonderful day. What topic are we discussing for this podcast episode? We will talk about how to start your own podcast show using the Zoom PodTrak P4 and Anchor for hosting our show. That's a great topic. I like it. Let's do it. Okay, that was a fantastic episode. Thanks for listening, everyone. And that concludes this podcast. I'm your host, Casey Chung. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to catch you again soon on our next episode. Okay, great. So that is confirmed. That was the actual recording that went into the PodTrak P4 earlier. So let me just exit out of that file clip. So now let me show you the next thing that is important. Right up here, there is a folder called P4 MultiTrack. This is where the separate audio clips are located for channel 1 plus channel 2 plus the sound pad jingles. The other yellow folders called P4 settings plus Android are useless and not important. So I'll just ignore those folders. So here's the P4 and Android. So ignore those. And these other audio files are just simply music files, which are short jingles that I added previously in case I want to use them for the sound pad. So I'll ignore these as well. So now let's open the P4 MultiTrack folder, and you will see more yellow folders that are arranged by date and time. I'm going to click on this bottom folder here, which is the recording we just finished. Notice that it's also named by the year, then month and day, then time in military hours. So let's open that folder. The individual multi-track audio files that I am interested in are called mic 1 plus mic 2 plus the sound pad, which is the intro and outro jingles. So you'll notice when I click and open on mic 1 file, there's only the voice of Casey Sr. speaking. So let's go ahead and play mic 1 file. Hello and welcome to another podcast episode by your host, Casey Chung. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started. Hey, it's Casey Sr. here, your host for this podcast. How's my co-host Casey Jr. doing today? Hey, Casey Jr. here. I'm having a wonderful day. What topic are we discussing for this podcast episode? We will talk about how to start your own podcast show using the Zoom PodTrak P4 and Anchor for hosting our show. That's a great topic. I like it. Let's do it. Okay, that was a fantastic episode. Thanks for listening, everyone. And that concludes this podcast. I'm your host, Casey Chung. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to catch you again soon on our next episode. Okay, now let's click on mic 2, and that should be the voice of Casey Jr. speaking. So let's go ahead and play the mic 2 channel. Hello, and welcome to another podcast episode by your host, Casey Chung. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started. Hey, it's Casey Sr. here, your host for this podcast. How's my co-host Casey Jr. doing today? Hey, Casey Jr. here. I'm having a wonderful day. What topic are we discussing for this podcast episode? We will talk about how to start your own podcast show using the Zoom PodTrak P4 and Anchor for hosting our show. That's a great topic. I like it. Let's do it. Okay, that was a fantastic episode. Thanks for listening, everyone. And that concludes this podcast. I'm your host, Casey Chung. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to catch you again soon on our next episode. Okay, perfect. So that was the mic 2 file. Let's close out of that. And now when I click on the sound pad, the intro will play at the beginning and the outro will play at the end. And there will be silence in the middle. Let's go ahead and open that. Hello, and welcome to another podcast episode by your host, Casey Chung. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started. So that was the intro from the SoundPad file. And there will be silence for, another 15, 20 seconds or so. Sorry for the delay. There's actually a little countdown timer right here, or not timer, but there's a little progress bar. So pretty soon the outro, there it is. That concludes this podcast. I'm your host, Casey Chung. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to catch you again soon on our next episode. Okay, so perfect. We heard all the audio files from mic 1 plus mic 2 plus the SoundPad file as well, so that all turned out very well. Now at this point, I have a choice. I can either choose to do some post-processing of one or more of the separate audio files if, for example, there is something wrong that I want to fix. For example, maybe the audio from my co-host might be too loud or too low, or maybe there is something else that's not quite right that you want to improve. That is the beauty of recording in MultiTrack, which the PodTrak P4 will do automatically in a separate folder. It is not necessary to enable MultiTrack recording. The PodTrak P4 will automatically record in MultiTrack and save these separate tracks in a separate folder. It is very difficult to repair an audio file from one of the speakers if the recording was only done in a combined file. However, because the PodTrak P4 also records each speaker in a separate audio track, that means I can more easily fix the audio separately for each person. After everything is fixed in post-processing, I can then combine the separate tracks into a single file for publishing to Anchor. Or let's say the audio is already perfect for every speaker and nothing needs to be fixed. In that case, you can simply use the combined file and upload that right away to your podcast hosting website. So now I'm going to give you a demonstration of how to use the separate MultiTrack files for fixing and post-processing and to combine into a single file. I'm going to open the free open source audio software called Audacity. If you don't already have Audacity installed on your computer, you should because it's free and it works well for this next demonstration. Let's pretend there is something wrong with your audio from mic 2. Maybe the audio is too loud or too quiet and you want to fix it so it sounds better. At this point, I'm going to refer to the University of YouTube because there are many good tutorials on how to fix audio files using Audacity. So let me just minimize the Audacity app for now and bring up YouTube on my browser. Okay. So, for example, here's a YouTube video on fixing vocal recordings. Let me just play this for a short time to give you an example.
Now we've got the envelope tool. Now this is what it looks like, and like I said, it helps you control the volumes. So you can left click as you can see, it will lay out a dot, and I can bring this in, and you can see it will help us control how loud this volume will be. We can left click again, say it's gone quiet here, we can bring it back up. And it's just an easier way of helping us control the levels of our audio.
Okay, so I thought that was a pretty good example of how to fix your audio if your levels may be a little bit too high or too low. And so you can fix it in post sync. And this is a pretty good YouTube tutorial on how to do that using the free Audacity app. So I will post the link to this video in the description below. If you do a search in YouTube for how to use Audacity for better vocals, you will see many videos for how to post-process your audio files. So here's the search box, and just enter the words how to use Audacity for better vocals, hit the search button, and then I get all of these various videos here. Here's the first one up on top. It says how to make your voice sound better in Audacity. Next one, how to improve voice quality in Audacity. Next, Audacity tutorial, easy beginner's guide to mixing vocals. Next, how to change your voice with Audacity. Make your voice sound better in Audacity. Make your voice sound amazing in Audacity. Make your voice sound better like studio quality in Audacity. It just keeps getting better. So if I keep scrolling down, you'll notice that there is just a lot of content for how to improve your audio quality using this free app called Audacity. So I really encourage you to check out YouTube and see all the various videos for how to use Audacity app. All right, next up, let me just click on this other tab here. There is this website called microphonebasics.com, and there is an article titled 5 Simple Steps to Make Your Voice Sound Better in Audacity Fast. That's a great catchy title. It says here, beginner's how-to guide for great sounding audio. Step 1, remove background noise in the audio track first to create a clean slate. Okay, that's a good first start. Next, step 2, use the equalizer to boost the bass across the vocal frequencies. Sounds good. Step 3, double your audio track for depth. All right. Next up, use the compressor feature. It says here, this tool makes quiet voices sound louder or faraway voices sound closer. This is good for professionals out there, but great for those who can't afford a super expensive quality microphone as well. That sounds excellent. I keep scrolling down. You'll see there's really quite a bit of details on how to improve your audio. So I will post a link to this website as well. So I encourage you to check out all these various resources, both online for websites and YouTube videos, and that way you can really learn how to better improve your audio fast, especially using the Audacity app. Okay, so now with your newfound knowledge on how to fix your audio files using Audacity, let's say you are now finished fixing the audio from either mic 1 or mic 2, and you are ready to combine your separate audio files into a single file so you can publish your recording to your favorite podcast hosting website. Open the Audacity app. So here on the left side of the screen is the Audacity app. There's a little pop-up window here. Just click on the OK button to get rid of that message. Now go to the MultiTrack folder from the PodTrak P4, which is right here on the right-hand side of the screen, and simply drag and drop the separate audio tracks into Audacity. First, I'm going to drag mic 1 file here. Here's the mic 1 file. I'm going to drag it over here into Audacity. Boom, there it goes. Then next, I'm going to drag the mic 2 file right here and drag it. That's wrong, I didn't want to play that. You want to drag it, not play it. And I'm going to drag the mic 2 file just below the mic 1 file, like so. Perfect. Now I'm going to drag the sound pad file below the mic 2 file. So let me drag that over here. Okay, boom, that's perfect as well. So you'll notice that the sound pad looks like 2 separate files, and so that's normal. As for the other files that say phone and USB, I'll just ignore those because those channels were not used. I have now maximized the Audacity app so that it now shows full screen. So now that all these separate audio clips are loaded into Audacity, the next step is to click on Tracks, then Mix and Render to New Track. So let me show you that step by step. So on top of the menu here, click on Tracks, then click on Mix, then next is Mix and Render to New Track, which is right here. Then the Audacity app will rearrange all the audio files and look a little differently. So the next step now is to click on File at the top left here, then click on Export, then Export as MP3, and then you'll get this window that pops up. I prefer to save the file as MP3 because the quality is high enough and it will upload faster to Anchor. Otherwise, you can choose to export as a higher quality WAV file if you prefer. So the next step is to name the file. So where it says file name here, go ahead and name that to something that makes sense. In this case, for example, I'm going to name it KC Podcast Episode 01, Season 01. Okay, sounds good to me. You should name the file in a way that you want for it to be shown on Anchor for your listeners to see. For the MP3 quality, you can choose different settings such as insane or standard. It's up to you how much quality level you prefer. For this demonstration, I will choose the lower standard quality for faster uploading. Otherwise, you can choose the higher insane quality if you prefer. So here are the choices: insane or extreme or standard or medium. For this example, I'm going to choose the standard quality setting. Then click on the Save button right here. Then you'll get a pop-up window that says, your tracks will be mixed down and exported as one stereo file. So go ahead and click OK. And for the next window on Edit Metadata Tags, I just ignore it and press the OK button. At this point, I'm done with the Audacity app. I'm going to minimize the Audacity app, and I will find the saved file on my computer desktop. Okay, so here's the MP3 file on my desktop that I just saved from the Anchor app. Let's listen to this saved combined recording file to make sure everything sounds good before uploading to Anchor. So let's go ahead and play this. Hello and welcome to another podcast episode by your host, Casey Chung. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started. Hey, it's Casey Sr. here, your host for this podcast. How's my co-host Casey Jr. doing today? Hey, Casey Jr. here. I'm having a wonderful day. What topic are we discussing for this podcast episode? We will talk about how to start your own podcast show using the Zoom PodTrak P4 and Anchor for hosting our show. That's a great topic. I like it. Let's do it. Okay, that was a fantastic episode. Thanks for listening, everyone. And that concludes this podcast. I'm your host, Casey Chung. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to catch you again soon on our next episode. Okay, that sounds fine to me. So now let's upload this file to Anchor. So here is the Anchor.fm dashboard website. Anchor is a free podcast hosting website that is owned by Spotify. I like Anchor because it's easy to use and easy to sign up for a free account. On the right column here, it says click to upload or drag files here. So if I click this, it's going to show me all the files that's on my desktop that I can choose to upload. I'm going to cancel out of that. I find an easier method is to just simply drag and drop the audio file into the box. So here is my audio file that I finished saving in Audacity. I'm just going to drag it into this box and let go. So now there is a message that says processing, and this circle is spinning around. Because it's a small file, it will finish processing quickly. So boom, it's already done. So then I press the Save Episode button right here, and the whole world can hear my latest podcast episode. So that's a quick demonstration of processing and uploading a multi-track recording to Anchor. There are more features included in Anchor, such as hitting this large red record button here so you can instantly start recording your podcast directly from your computer if you want to. Here's the big red record button. Anchor also has a free smartphone app so you can record and upload instantly using your phone if you want to. So here's the smartphone Anchor app. If I press the record button here, I can start recording right away. So I encourage you to sign up for your own free Anchor account so you can start podcasting right away. So I hope you found this video helpful on how to use the Zoom PodTrak P4 for recording and multi-track and uploading your podcast episode to Anchor. Please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. And hey, by the way, my wife Wendy says I need to smile more and lighten up when making these videos because she says I look too serious. If you agree with my wife or you think I should do things differently, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.